How are we going? I was just about to complain, I can't believe it's about to rain here, folks. I came out earlier, the sun was blaring and it was hot, and now it's freezing. I'm going to transplant these seedlings. If you remember, we did that a couple of weeks ago. Maybe, yeah, it's about a couple of weeks ago. What have we got here? Now, don't look at the mess, because the dog got in here. He started stepping all over it. Bloody gave me a nightmare. How's that? We've got broccoli here. Well, we've got some cos over there. We've got iceberg here. It looks like it's all been pushed over. We've got the cauliflower and then a mixed batch. What's that one they say? I can't even read my writing. Bistro blend, that's it, lettuce bistro. So they're all small lettuce. So we're going to transplant some of those. And I'm trying to get this tape off here. There we are. We've got some cocoa peat in this bag. I'm using the 72 cell tray. There's a little tray. I can use the jiffy pots and the peat pots and all things like that, but I thought, no, I'm just going to put them separately in here. Just using the cocoa, nothing else, no superfood, no nothing else, no other fertilizer, real simple. Now, it's the only problem I have with this is I should have done them earlier, because some of them are quite large. Let me just get some more in here for now. Normally I transplant these straight into the ground, but I want to bring them on a little bit more, and plus I haven't prepared the garden bed. That's silly me, ahead of myself. So I'm just going to pop them in here, see, and the only reason, well, the main reason why I'm doing it, not the only reason, the main reason I'm doing this is because, see how they're all growing together? If they grow on too much, it's like your typical seedling tray. They're still a little bit small. You can say they've only got the juvenile leaves coming on there. You can transplant them a little bit larger. But again, if you let them go for too much, I want them to establish their roots as soon as possible and not get tangled up that much as well. And here we are. We've got one here. They're actually quite strong. 2, 3. So I'm only going to do the cauliflowers for now. See that? See? Now, I've tore some of the roots off there. I don't like that. I hate that. That's why I like planting them separately, but I did sow these all together, my own doing. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, they'll grow again, but just sometimes you can be a little bit over anxious and you pull them apart too quick. So I'm doing all the collies here, folks. You can leave them in longer if you like, but look, this is a tangling up. I don't like that. I've got to pull these apart. And the bigger they get, yeah, they're tough. They can tear a little bit and they bounce back. These are actually quite rigid, so these are good little specimens. Whereas the lettuce, yes, they're going to get tangled up as well, but I still need an extra leaf to come out. They're not quite large enough for me to transplant yet. So a couple of more days more, 2 or 3 more days, depending on the weather, and we'll do them. So now, it's going to be interesting with the cocoa, how I'm going to plant this in. All right, bear with me, folks. I'm going to be here for about 4 hours doing this. Working with cocoa peat, honestly, it's best to actually sow them directly into the single cells, because these cells are so small. It's pretty hard to transplant a seedling from, a bed like that into a single cell like that. So if you're going to do that and you want to grow them in that form, do it directly straight into that so you can avoid the headache of trying to do that. It's easily done, but it's just tedious. You've got to be careful. It's not like a little bit of some seed raising mix which you just sprinkle into there. This one you've got to work and fluff around with it a little bit. But I reckon by comparison to seed raising mix, I love this hands down. Now, there's no living organisms in the cocoa. It's completely sterile. We are going to liquid feed it with a weak solution of liquid gold. And I love this little bottle top sprinkler because you can avoid drowning the poor little gentle seedling and avoid getting it all wet and just soak where the roots where the water needs to be. And this way, the plant stays dry, and it doesn't have to go in a hothouse either, folks. These have been growing outdoors actually. They haven't been inside at all. They've been on the ground just below this little table here. So they're pretty hardened off already. So hydrate the cocoa. Now this isn't sitting in the tray base. See at the bottom we've got the holes, you can see right through there. So this will dry up quite quickly. So growing it like this is fine, provided that you monitor it on a regular basis, because it will dry out a lot quicker as opposed to sowing it into this bed here, no holes. Okay, so you can use this as a tray to sit that in there and it's a little bit of a well. It's a bit of a wicking bed design, so you don't have to hydrate as much, or otherwise if you keep them completely like that, they'll dry out a lot quicker and you'll need to water them more often. Liquid gold, a week solution, weekly done, and that way you get your autumn range ready to plant out into the garden. Yep, I sow lettuce straight in the garden, and I sow silver beet and things like that in the garden. But for those who don't have a large garden and want to do a little bit of a pot specimen, nothing wrong with starting them off in a seedling tray and then transplanting them on as they get bigger. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasily, Maresi.